I'm Sneh from India, Anita's younger sister, and Alan's sister-in-law. I'll briefly touch upon a few milestones. Alan and Anita married in March 1985, and my mother hosted a wonderful reception at the Oberoi, Delhi. And Alan was so delighted that the reception was held where the Rolling Stones had played earlier. It did not take long to make friends with Alan because he was humble, patient, generous, very kind, and adapted very easily. Our entire family loved him and held him in great esteem. Alan and Anita visited India every year to touch base with the family and relatives. In November 1992, they attended my wedding and were a strong pillar of support to my mother. We toured many places together as a family. Alan was fond of his nephew, Daniel, and Rachel, his niece, and took interest in their personal achievements. The one thing I really liked about Alan was his way of explaining things so very calmly and with sound reasoning. He was a man of few words, a silent observer, a person in whom I could confide and get an honest feedback. Whenever I faced challenging situations, I would discuss it with him, and he would always guide me on planning and saving for the future. Alan was devoted to his wife and home. Alan and Anita were the best of friends, did everything together. Both loved to travel, loved music and dance, and I admired them as a couple. He rendered his full support to Anita to pursue her studies, learn driving, and was proud of her achievements both at work and at home. In 1998, he opted for early retirement and was content being at home, playing his guitar, gardening, and other household chores. In June 2019, Anita decided to take early retirement to optimize her time with Alan. However, in December 19, Alan's health issues commenced. In my opinion, her retirement was a real blessing as she could focus on looking after Alan and allow nothing to distract her from this mission. For past 3 years, she single-handedly managed the home, appointments, doctors, and caring for Alan. Well done, Anita. You did your very best. However, God had other plans and wanted to relieve Alan, so he called him to rest. On behalf of my family and our extended family, I offer our heartfelt condolences. May the Lord give you strength and courage to cope with this irreplaceable loss of your loving husband and friend. May his soul rest in peace.
Anita, anyone else? Would like to say something?
If I should bring my personal tributes now, I need to.
Yeah. Would you like to do it now?
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to come forward?
No, standing in Jack.
Which is good.
Okay. Right. What Snake's not told you is that when we would often get into arguments with each other, Alan was very smart. He would keep out of it and tell the rest of the family, don't get involved between these two. Okay. So you heard many things about Alan. I guess what I'm going to say, a bit of it will be repeatable, but forgive me. I'll take you through the journey of my life with Alan for 38 years. I'll briefly explain to you his characteristics, the oddities, the idiosyncrasies that Alan had. For example, when Denzel mentioned the court scenario. Okay, so just to put things into perspective why we are here today. We're here today simply because Alan passed away on the 11th of October at 6:25 at St. Helens Hospital. The cause of his death was heart failure because he had a weak left ventricle. Basically what that means is that your heart, left and right, uses ventricles to pump blood into your arteries, and it increases or it optimizes your blood circulation. In this scenario, his heart was pumping, but the ventricle was weak, which obviously meant he was on beta blockers. And eventually, he became frail, he became weak. I had to call the ambulance on the night of 10th of October. I think the last person, as my friend Alice spoke to, was my Iona in the afternoon. He saw her, and the last person he spoke to on the phone was Jane. And Jane and myself were trying to convince him to get to bed. And he kept saying, I'm so tired, I don't want to go to bed. As I say, I had to call the ambulance, rush to the hospital, and sorry to be a little bit technical, but I think it's important we understand the exact reason why we are celebrating a man who's passed away and what were the causes of his death. And they tried to resuscitate him, he came around. In the end, he just lost his oxygen saturation, which means it kept fluctuating, going up and down. And he had my hand very tight, very, very tight. And I said to him, Alan, you're hurting my hand because the right hand had rings. And that's the last breath he took. I was very fortunate. I called his sister Betty, who came out of the house at about 10 to 2 or something. She took an Uber and dashed to the hospital. So I was so fortunate to have Betty by my side on that night. So that's giving me some perspective, because we keep thinking, oh well, did he die of dialysis or did he die of frailty? Basically, the cause of death was heart failure. Now, he's quite a remarkable man, really, because I used to do his medications morning and evening, do the count. I knew 4 in the morning, 3 in the evening, give him his statins as his beta blockers and everything. But despite all his health issues, he was just so wonderful in his temperament. He was great company, and he would often say to me, oh, go on and play that song for me. I love that song, so we'd have to repeat it 5-6 times. And then I would have to say, now, I think we've heard the song enough, we've got to switch over to something else. He was terrific because very often in the evening he would remind me, we haven't said the rosary yet, so that was great. And then we often engaged in very meaningful conversations, and our conversations were centered around the hopelessness of the government, can you imagine? Because we are both fans of this thing called LBC radio. So the conversations were fueled by all the topical affairs that were going on. He would very seldom talk about dialysis, but he would often stop and say, I don't know how you do it. How do you get up at 4 o'clock to drive me to Kingston every other day? So, in the past 3 years, what has it's been like really for me? Very few people, very, very few people have asked me, and as say one of my friends sitting here on the left, what's it like for you? Another friend sitting down, Adelaide, how are you? And that really, those 3 years felt like I was undergoing an intensive training course. You know, one of those NBQs, you go in blindfolded and you come out all sort of, oh, I know how to do this. So, what did my training incorporate? He taught me how to top up the windscreen wash, check the tire pressure. He taught me how to change the light bulbs, use cordless screwdrivers. I'm very good at that actually now. He also taught me to be very cautious while driving and not to speed. He encouraged me to take the corners very slowly. And really, his pet subject was road courtesy. You must remember to be courteous on the road. You do not drive like a buffoon in Wellington. So those were all kind of practical life skills. His main concern always for me was my personal security. He always worried about that because of two reasons. Firstly, I'm absolutely hopeless at shitting my handbag. It's not something I do, it's not something I remember, my handbag's always open. And the second thing is that I'm not very good at shutting the back door. So I've been caught out on several occasions by him where I'm not shut the back door. And obviously I have to be mindful of that to myself now. Now, the unique quality about Alan was, because I'm a pretty, I'm not saying I'm great, but I'm a pretty good observer of people's characters. And it's actually fascinating. We're in a human jungle. You just have to watch somebody for 10 minutes, I mean, in my case I can, and really get on an 80-20 basis, yeah, this is how this person ticks. So, how did my husband tick? He did not believe in complicating life at all. His approach was very, very simple. If I would complain about something, he would say, if it's not important, don't waste time over it. Just leave well alone. In fact, one day, we were both arguing about something between us, and he told both of us, if it's not important, why are you discussing it? Just leave it alone. He would also say there's no need for endless debates. He hated endless debates. His pet hate was snotty emails. Don't be nasty to other people on emails, or don't take personal slants at others. And if they do so, you must learn one thing, and it's very simple. Keep out. Brevity was his favorite word. Alan loved being at home, as some of you know. He was quite a home person, really. After 2 years was his critical threshold cut off, where he would say, oh, I'm ready to go home now. And we called our home Shangri-La, a place where life is absolutely perfect. Your life approaches perfection, he used to say, when you enter Shangri-La. You shut the door, you put on your nice music, put the heating on, and just relax. He was a man who enjoyed Western films, you know, the Star Wars stuff, Clint Eastwood, or he loved watching the YouTube videos on Garth Brooks and country and Western music. Well, I would often say to Alan that life without him would be absolutely pointless, and I pointed that out several times to him. And his response actually was quite humbling, quite noble, and I think that sort of a response takes courage. And he said it is all about acceptance. When I go, you've got to accept that this is what life is about, because nobody comes to earth to live forever. I'm now beginning to realize the wisdom of his own words. I will quickly share with you some of his characteristics. Alan was a stickler for detail. He would prepare for each event in advance. He believed in backup for everything. Like, we couldn't just have one gas light, you have to have two. Or you couldn't have a set of AA batteries, you could have the whole suite of batteries, and backups, and torches, and spectacles, and plectrums. Plectrums in the front pocket, back pocket. 2 combs in case he lost one. He would often say backup is an acquired trait from Reuters, from where he learned, I suppose. It makes sense. When the main system goes down, many would know, you back it up with a corresponding system to get your network up, presumably. Alan took early retirement in '98 from Reuters, and he enjoyed every minute of his retirement. Simply being at home in his Shangri-La, playing the guitar, gardening. He even learned names of very many plants that you see there. There was a bouquet there. His favorite was lilies and chrysanthemums and a few roses. But he could not be freely. He was a little bit risky in the garden. He could not be let loose with any fertilizers, because one day he thought that the weed killer was a grass fertilizer, and he threw this weed killer all over the grass. And he was so proud he had done it. But sadly, next morning we got up, and the garden was like out of Baghdad. It was sand everywhere. The grasses got burnt. So he learned his lesson from that. He tried very hard with his gardening skills. Now, he had a very keen interest in construction and design. I know it sounds old to some of you, but on many of our European holidays, we have to stop as a mandatory itinerary, if you like, to look at these wonderful cathedrals and churches. And you would have studied about them, read about them, like for example, the cathedral in Milan. We spent an awful lot of time there. We had a personal guide there. He was keen to understand who designed it, when it was designed, ended up with an Italian having lunch for 4 hours. So that was his thing, and after that he said, you can do anything as long as I see, go and visit this particular cathedral in this town. So that was great, because I got to like it as well. He was a very kind and compassionate husband to me. His legacy will always live on forever. And you know what? I have learned so much from him. But I have learned from him, no matter what, be kind and step away if you see confrontation. Just be tolerant. I did ask him on many occasions, what if I have to face the world without you? And his standard response was, you are capable, you can do it. But you're not so smart with your personal security. So you have to work on that. As I reflect upon the loss of Alan, my dear husband, I'm really determined to find comfort in the knowledge that he really loved me to the end. I don't know what it was, but 4 days prior to his departure from this world, he wrote me a beautiful letter. It wasn't long. It was just 2 lines. My darling, if I may say so, I love you and always will. And this letter I have in my handbag, and I shall carry it with me for the rest of my life. The tireless effort today, ladies and gentlemen, put in by these musicians, it really is demonstrative of the respect, the love, the regard they had for Alan. I mean, these guys have not just stood up there in the afternoon and wired up a few boxes to entertain you. This is much, much deeper than that. It takes you back to about 50 to 60 years. They have known each other. Alan has known their families, their children, attended the children's wedding. So it's almost like a very deep friendship that has sustained through all its highs and lows. They have been with each other, played with each other, and been on the phone talking about music and about various jokes that they shared. You know, I often remember Alan talking to Julian and having a good laugh. Next would be, Benny would ring up and have a good laugh, and then Deb would start talking about sound and music. So it was, and I used to think, you're so fortunate that you have got friends which you have known for so many years. And this is what life is about. It is about strengthening our friendships and ties with each other, kindness towards each other. Obviously, we don't have, at least I don't have the talent that they have in their musical attributes and singing. But this music has been a real blessing to all of them, and of course, indeed to Alan, because he would often go upstairs and just play randomly, sound absolutely absolutely beautiful. And then just shout from upstairs, is my coffee ready yet? And down you would come. So, if I may, I really think I'm missing my mom, and it's really appropriate. I would like to just talk about Alan's closeness to my mother. It was quite unique, and my mom confided in Alan more than she confided in the two girls. She was very close to him, they had a great love, shared drinks together, and really they were great buddies. So in conclusion, I would like to, of course, Father Patrick and Father Gerard have left, but they did a good job, I think, at the service. It was a beautiful service, pitched to the right level, and it was good. Obviously, my thanks to the band members as well for providing a superb musical tribute. It was so good. I dare tell you have put in an extra. I know you don't like your name being mentioned, and you don't like praise, but you have put in so much effort in bringing this together. And you are an elegant man to work with. The emails are direct, you set the direction, and the tone is right. And all this effort that you've done in printing posters, coordinating, and I am immensely and enormously thankful to you because I would not know where to start. I thank you for the direction you put together. You presented a beautiful eulogy and you stepped up to the plate for your friend. Thank you to all the band members. You have done an exceptional job. You've taken time out to pay a tribute to a very long-lasting friend. And you know what? I think my email to Kenny went something like this. It said, I think you musicians have a code. You recall, Kenny? I think you musicians have a code that if one of your mates passes away, you guys step in to pay your respects. And I think that just sums it up, the elegance of this team to come and present themselves and take time out to actually pay a tribute to a friend they have known for very long. My thanks go to Sisney and to Daniel for traveling all the way from Delhi. Sorry your flight was delayed by 3 hours, but you have been an enormous support to me, especially Daniel. You are a tech robot, you never cease. You are high density electricity with 10,000 volts plus. You have done so much for me. Carry on. I need all the help I can get. Yeah, you're a terrific handyman. The only thing Daniel ever wants is 3 hours in the gym on a daily basis. Apart from that, he can pull a truck with you. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank my personal friends for all the kindness that they have shown to me. Your love and your friendship has been absolutely unwavering. I cannot thank you enough. In my selection of friends, I have a Uber service on demand, which is very handy. I have a personal Sainsbury's shopper. If I need a couple of bags of tea, I get given 185. There are friends who advise me on how to put together the booklet for the priests, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and giving me the... I mean, such beautiful, adorable people. Where would you get that from? They're checking on me if I've eaten. Did I get home safely? What am I doing now? You better get to bed soon. So you see, I am truly blessed. And Alan always would say to me, you are so fortunate, your girlfriends are so lovely, ranging all the way from Sitka to Wellington. This network is just fabulous. So, to conclude, I must mention my favorite topic. My favorite topic is kindness. Kindness, which has been mentioned several times in my personal tribute, and it really means a lot to me. Unknown to you, many of you in some ways or the other today have been extending your kindness or experiencing kindness. And kindness to me is really simple philosophy. That's not complicated, right? Kindness is a passport. And you know what this passport does? It opens doors and it really does strengthen friendships. Kindness softens hearts and it builds relationships that can last a lifetime. So Alan, I love you always and forever. And really and truly, I so miss your kindness in every respect. Thank you and God bless.